Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in case you've been asking this very important question as myself, I'm asking a question of what's the difference between opacity and fill in Photoshop. I have a very simple explanation for that. Photoshop is fun, let's have fun. First, you need to understand that both opacity and fill controls transparency on the layer. They both do the same work in that aspect, or if we put it in that perspective, but then they work differently if other things is being done. So a simple explanation is that a layer will remain the same when you apply both your opacity and fill to it if nothing is being done, if no adjustment or attribute is being done to that layer. I hope my explanation makes sense, but then let me show you what I just said. So here we are. Let's work with this text of cute baby. Let's just increase the size. All right, and before we go into anything, first let's zoom in into it. We have cute baby, and let's check our opacity. Now you discover that if you keep dragging your opacity down to from 100 to 0, everything is gone. The same thing applicable to fill from 100 gradually, the same thing to 0, everything is gone. So now let's work at fill 50 so that we'll compare with opacity 50. Look at our 50% fill, look at what we have. Let's take it back to 100, and at our at our 50% opacity, look at what we have, the same thing. And that being said, let me quickly tell you this, please. If you are working with your opacity and fill, you could always, if you want to change from 100% to 50%, you could just press 5, it will automatically change to 50. Can you see that? If you press 1, it will change to 10. If you press 9, it will change to 90, and thereabout. 5, it will change to 50. The same thing works for fill. The only difference is that you need to hold your shift. If I hold shift 5, it will change my fill to 50. That is how it works. But now looking at opacity 50 and at fill 50 for this cute baby, it's the same. Why? Because this layer is just an empty layer. Apart from this cute baby, there is no other attribute that is attached to the layer, and that's what makes fill functional. I hope you get that. So now let's make little attributes to the layer and let's see what we get. So let's come to our layer style. You can get it here, all our layer style, or you could just double click here, and if you double click on the layer, it takes you to your layer style. So those are two places that you can get your layer. So now let's come to I don't want to waste more time in this video. Okay, let me just do one. Let's come to bevel and this emboss. Let's just work on our contour, and let's work with this. I think this is okay. And is that okay? Okay, for the sake of the, yeah, it's okay. Okay, now look at it. We make just one adjustment. You know, we could do several adjustments as well. We made just one adjustment, and that's what I want to show you. And now let's come back to our opacity. If you click on our opacity, if you change it from 100, you discover that as soon as you are reducing, let me zoom in so that you see better. Even the adjustment that we made, everything is as though we did not make any adjustment. Down to 0, everything is gone. Okay, now that's what you think. But then let's take it back to 100, and let's come back to our fill. Now let's start adjusting our fill from 100 down to 0. Now you discover that we still have the cute baby. We could even use this for what they call it, watermark. Now what happened here is that when it comes to adjusting or fill, the layer itself will go to 0, it will vanish, but the attributes, the effects and the adjustment we made to the layer will remain 100% intact, and that is why we still have this cute baby. The layer of the cute baby is gone actually, but the effect, the fill doesn't affect the effect, it only affects the layer. I hope my explanation makes sense, but I think with this practical you should be able to understand what I'm trying to say. So that is why at opacity it's gone. If you change the opacity, it's gone. At 0, it's gone completely. But if you change the fill at 0, we still have the effect on it. I hope we understand. So we could even use this for a watermark, and you can still try other effects. They are there, just try it. I don't want this video to be too long. And that being said, let me turn off this layer. Let me show you another example. So now let's come back to our layer. Let's create a new layer and let's just fill this layer. Hold your shift F5. Hold your shift F5. So we'll just select color. And you could always get this fill as well under edit. Let me even show you quickly. Just cancel it, come to your edit. You can see it here, fill, or you use your shift F5. So come to your color. Let's choose white. White is okay, and let's click OK. So sorry, we made a mistake. We forgot to do something. I don't want to fill everything with white. I just, because I want to show you. So let's we want to create a circle. To create a perfect circle, just hold on your shift and just drag to give you a perfect circle. So let's adjust like this. Then let's fill it now with white color. Remember the color we selected, white. White is okay. Click OK. Then look at what we have now. White. Now if you come to your fill, your opacity, and drag from 100 at 50, look at what we have. Transparent, right? Because that's what fill is meant for, transparency. And let's take it back to 100. That's what opacity is meant for as well. At fill as well, at 50, you discover that it's still transparent. Exactly the same thing with opacity. Remember what I told you, because we've done nothing to the layer, so it will remain like that. So let's adjust it back to 100. Do you get it now? I hope you get the logic. As far as you did not do anything to the layer, both opacity and fill will work the same way. Transparency, they both control the transparency of the layer. But once we do something to the layer, an effect, an attribute, an adjustment, then our fill becomes distinguished from opacity. I hope you understand that. So now let's adjust. Let's add some attributes to. Excuse me. Let's adjust. Add some attributes to our layer, and let's come to. Okay. Let's just double click so that we have access to everything. Let's double click. Okay. Let's come to our drop shadow. Right, let's go around. I want to show you something that, okay, this is nice. Click on the positive sign so that we will adjust the color. Let's change the color to blue. Okay, blue, right? Then the next thing, let's adjust the spread to around 4 or so. Then the size as well, let's reduce it. Okay, 10 is just too much. Let's change it to around 5 as well. Okay, for the sake of this tutorial, let's make it around 8 so that we could see it very well. Then the spread, okay. I think we are okay like this. Then let's just add some little effect as well, stroke, and let's add some outer glow. And I think we are okay. Let's just click OK like that. Alright, now we've done little adjustments, we've done little attributes to the layer. So now opacity and fill will not work the same way again. Now let's work on our opacity. At opacity 50, look at what we have. Everything is being reduced down to 0, down to 50, and if you continue to get down to 0, okay, let's take it back to 100. That's opacity. Let's come to our flow. At flow, I said flow, at fill. Now at 50% at fill, you discover that there is a difference. The layer itself is being reduced down to 50%, but the attribute is still at 100%. You might not be able to see this very well, but then let's take it down to 0. Let me show you something. Come back to your opacity and change it back to 0. You can't see anything again. Let's take it back to 100. Then come to your fill and take it to 0. You discover that, can you see that? You discover that the layer itself is gone, but the attributes are still there. Every attribute, everything we did, the blue we added, the green, the outer glow and everything, just look at it, they are still there. So that is how opacity and fill works differently. I hope my explanation is simple enough for you to understand. And please don't forget as well, make sure you always play with your blend mode. There are a lot of options you are having in your blend mode as well, and I don't want this video to be too long, that's why I'm not really going into that. But when you change, there are some blend modes as well that works well and distinguish itself very well when you work with fill. So friends, this is the end of the tutorial. If you know you've learned something, please like, subscribe, make comments. Thank you so much. See you in my next tutorial.